3 words Europe won't say out loud: externalize, criminalize, legalize. In 1 year, Italy plunged sea arrivals by over 60%, from 157,651 to about 66,000. Did they end the migration crisis, or just move it out of sight? This is Italy's secret playbook, and how it could change Europe forever. This is NIKZAD Immigration. Picture Lampedusa from the air, boats forming a fragile line across the sea. In 2023, Italy's front line cracked under pressure. Roughly 157,651 people arrived by sea, more than 400 a day on average. Some days, up to 2,000 in 24 hours. A reception center designed for around 350 to 400 people strained against crowds many times that. Local communes warned they were at a breaking point. Rome bled money and political capital. Then came 2024, and a stunning reversal. Sea arrivals collapsed to about 66,000, a drop of more than 60%. The headlines buzzed. The question remained, did Italy solve the crisis, or simply move it? Italy's controversial strategy fits on 3 lines. Externalize the border. Criminalize the journey, legalize the alternatives. Let's open the file and follow the border as Italy pushes it hundreds of miles south. Pillar 1. Externalize. Don't wait for boats to touch Italian waters. Stop departures before they happen. Push processing beyond the EU's legal perimeter. Italy pushed the EU to unlock a €127 million package for Tunisia tied to migration control. The bargain was blunt. European money for Tunisian enforcement, intercept boats, deny port access, push people back inland. In effect, Tunisia became Europe's offshore border guard, doing at distance what EU law makes difficult at home. Rights groups later documented collective expulsions toward borders and deserts, including vulnerable people. Allegations Tunisia disputes. The costs are counted in lives, not just euros. Then Libya, where the UN has long warned of unsafe conditions and abuse in detention centers. Cooperation deepened anyway. The EU allocated roughly €57.2 million for border and migration management. Italy pledged patrol boats to the Libyan Coast Guard. Interceptions surged. In one recent period, more than 19,000 people were intercepted and returned to Libya, while over 1,000 were reported dead or missing. Critics say Europe outsourced risk to a place without adequate safeguards. Supporters say it prevents deadly crossings. Italy's boldest move crossed the Adriatic. In November 2023, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni signed a deal with Albania to build 2 Italian-run processing centers near Schengen and Chuter, under Italian jurisdiction, staffed by Italian personnel, with judges beaming in from Rome by video. The plan aimed to process up to 36,000 asylum claims per year, about 100 per day, at an estimated cost near €675 million over 5 years. Capacity on site, up to 3,000 people in waiting. Court stepped in fast. Some early transfers were sent back to Italy within days, raising a hard question. Can EU-level rights be guaranteed in non-EU territory while people are detained? Not easily, according to initial rulings. Legal turbulence is built into the model. Shift the border, spend big. Push decisions offshore. Move the pressure away from Italian shores and into legal gray zones. Pillar 2. Criminalize. Make the journey and even the rescue costly. Under Interior Minister Matteo Piantedosi, NGO rescue ships faced new constraints. Rescue near Sicily? You might be sent to disembark hundreds of miles away, sometimes to Ravenna, burning days and tens of thousands of euros in fuel. Multiple rescues on one mission? Punishable. Fines in the tens or hundreds of thousands. Ship seizures for weeks or months. By 2024 and into 2025, well-known vessels like Ocean Viking, Geo Barents, and Sea-Watch ships were detained in Italian ports, their crews pulled into legal processes. The moral equation flipped. Saving more lives could mean legal trouble. January 2024. Ocean Viking answers a nearby distress call, about 15 nautical miles away, then gets a 20-day detention order and a €3,300 fine for deviating from assigned instructions. We followed the law of the sea, rescuers said, the duty to aid anyone in distress. Italy said orders were ignored. Courts are still untangling where duty and discretion collide. February 26, 2023, near Cutro, Calabria, a wooden boat breaks apart on the rocks. At least 94 people die. Italy didn't retreat. It escalated. The Cutro decree toughened penalties. Sentences for smugglers up to 30 years, fines up to €15,000 per passenger. Humanitarian permits were narrowed, border procedures accelerated, detention in repatriation centers, CPRs, extended up to 18 months. That's a year and a half inside barbed wire facilities with limited freedom and uncertain outcomes. The government calls it deterrence that saves lives. Critics call it deterrence by punishment that endangers them. Turn rescue into a maze. Raise the price for everyone who facilitates the journey, including humanitarians. Pillar 3. Legalize. Block irregular routes and open legal ones. Through the Decreto Flussi, Italy approved a record 165,000 work permits for 2025. Agriculture, construction, logistics, domestic care, sectors struggling to hire. The pitch is simple. Why pay a smuggler for a deadly crossing when you can apply for a visa and fly? Close the smuggler's business model by out-competing it. Employers get labor, the state gets taxes and traceability. These aren't cushy jobs. They're tough, essential roles many Italians won't or can't fill. In theory, the same people risking their lives at sea can step into legal pathways instead. But demand for visas outstrips supply, paperwork is slow, and eligibility is uneven across countries. Legal channels help, they don't replace migration pressures overnight. Italy's Achilles heel, deportations. On paper, you can expand permits and widen detention. In practice, if you can't return people who don't qualify to stay, deterrence wobbles. By mid-2024, roughly 2,242 repatriations were carried out, about a 15% increase from the year before. In that same period, around 66,317 people arrived. Effective return rate, roughly 3.3%. For every 100 people who arrived, fewer than 4 were sent back. The rest, some win protection, others fight lengthy appeals. Many are released after maximum detention, some melt into the informal economy. Countries of origin don't always accept returns. Deportation flights are expensive, legal appeals drag on, courts intervene. Without reliable removals, deterrence becomes a costly bluff and a humanitarian headache. In 1 year, arrivals fell by nearly 60%. 91,000 fewer people reached Italy in 2024 than in 2023. That's like subtracting a mid-sized city from the shoreline. As a management strategy, it works on paper. Where did those people go? Some shifted routes to Spain, to Greece, or deeper into the Sahara's smuggling corridors. Some were stranded in Tunisia or cycled back into Libya's detention system, places where monitoring is thin. Some secured work visas. Weather also matters. Rough seas in key months reduce departures. Smugglers time their launches to calm windows. The Albania plan alone could approach 675 to 700 million euros over 5 years. Add Tunisia and Libya cooperation, expanded detention, legal defense and administration, Italy spends well over €1 billion annually on migration management. Politically, the payoff is visible. Prime Minister Meloni's approval, hovering just over 40%, suggests many Italians see decisive action after years of drift. But courtrooms are busy. Are farport assignments arbitrary? Does limiting rescues violate the duty to save life at sea? Can EU-level rights be guaranteed in non-EU detention? Early rulings have clipped policies at the edges. More cases are coming. Ethically, the dilemma cuts deep. Are you preventing drownings or preventing rescues? Reducing suffering or relocating it? Italy proved something leaders crave, that numbers can move fast if you pay the financial, legal, and reputational costs. Elsewhere, the United Kingdom pursued a Rwanda plan. Denmark passed a law enabling third country processing. Even traditionally liberal states are studying forms of externalization, detention, and expanded work visas. The template is here, even if the legal footing is shaky. Italy didn't solve migration. No single country can. But it engineered one of the sharpest policy-driven drops in irregular arrivals in modern European history. Externalize. Criminalize. Legalize. In the short term, the trio works, if your metric is boats. As a permanent fix, it's expensive, legally exposed, politically divisive, and morally complex. So where do you draw the line between effective border management and humanitarian obligation? If a ship saves one boat but must ignore the next to obey orders, what does that do to Europe's identity? If fewer people reach Italy, but more are trapped in deserts and detention, what story do the numbers tell? Italy's experiment is still live. If arrivals remain low, legal channels scale, and courts don't tear down the scaffolding, expect more countries to adapt the model. If the legal pillars crack, if Albania stumbles, if Tunisia steps back, if returns stay stuck, Rome will need new answers fast. The most likely future is an arms race between policy innovation and legal challenges, with migrants caught in the middle. Italy showed what's possible. Whether it's a model Europe should copy or a line it shouldn't cross is the debate of the decade. If you were in charge of Europe's deadliest migration route, what would you do? For clear-eyed analysis on migration that cuts through the noise, you're in the right place. This is NIKZAD Immigration. Subscribe for more. If you'd like a downloadable .txt with each scene on its own line, or a CSV with scene numbers for your editor, I can generate that instantly.